Set in the early 1960s in rural Overijssel, the novel opens in the sprawling house where Isabel lives in isolation, dutifully maintaining her late mother's memory through obsessive housekeeping. Post-war isolation and grief have shaped her into a rigid caretaker, consumed by the preservation of both space and routine. Her interactions are sparse and strained, limited largely to Nielke, a timid maid whom Isabel often faults for imagined thefts, and the occasional correspondence with her estranged brothers, Louis and Hendrik. Community and past losses form an undercurrent in this atmospheric opening. The disruptive arrival. When Louis brings his vivacious girlfriend Eva home while he travels for work, Isabel's ordered existence fractures. Eva's bright energy, spontaneous chatter, and disregard for Isabel's precious order provoke immediate hostility. She moves into the mother's former room, places her own photograph on a frame, and pries at the layers of family history hidden within this house. What unfolds is a slow-burn clash of wills, a tense atmosphere thick with conflict, curiosity, and a charged psychological pull between Isabel's suspicion and fascination. From suspicion to seduction. Eva's presence proves irresistibly disruptive. Isabel finds herself unable to look away as her emotions shift. What began as irritation deepens into meaning. Eva's boldness, sexuality, and ease provoke something inside Isabel that she has long denied. Their interactions become tender and volatile, alternating between silence and magnetic attraction. In this space filled with guilt and shame overlaid by a decade of unspoken grief, Isabel begins to awaken to desire. Intimacy in the quiet. The novel's sensual heartbeat resides in the intimate scenes between Isabel and Eva. Their coupling is described with deliberate pacing and poetic attention to detail, capturing the disorientation and ineffable pleasure of first queer love. The writing is sensual yet restrained, body and self-dissolving and reforming, mirroring Isabel's internal transformation. These scenes become turning points, lifting Isabel beyond mere resistance into vulnerability and awareness. Shaping the past through objects. A broken shard from Isabel's mother's china serves as a symbolic catalyst. Its discovery in the garden triggers questions about the house's past and the silences that have muffled it. As small items go missing, suspicion grows, especially towards Eva. The house becomes a stage where memory, inheritance, and identity collide. Every dish, toy, and photograph turns into evidence of secrets waiting to be exposed. War's unspoken legacy. Looming over the summer's intensity is the weight of World War II. The family's wartime acquisition of the house, once owned by Jewish neighbors, is never discussed, but Isabel senses its gravity. The broken crockery, then, is not only maternal but colonial, a signifier of inherited silence and collective evasion about complicity and loss. The novel becomes a quiet demand for reckoning, both personal and national, over the sins of forgetting. The power of perspective. Around 2/3 in, the narrative shifts to Eva's voice. Suddenly her diary comes alive, a fount of intent, pain, and emotional truth. Readers learn that Eva's presence was never a random visit, but a deliberate infiltration, shaped by her own roots in the same history Isabel has tried so hard to preserve. Eva reveals her own face, as cunning, wounded, determined. Her perspective reframes their entire summer, exposing the flawed, hidden, yet intertwined humanity of both women. Reckoning, rupture, and reconstruction. The relationship fractures under weight of theft accusations, repressed resentment, and historical guilt. Isabel becomes physically ill, flooded with regret and confusion. Eva departs, leaving the house silent again but never unchanged. Isabel confronts the house, and herself, differently now, containing shards of vulnerability alongside obsession. This reckoning forces her out of denial, toward questions about love, legacy, and the courage to rewrite her own story. Final reverberations. In the closing chapters, Isabel must face history, not just her family's, but her own. The house stands silent witness as she begins to dismantle her grief and fear. The novel ends with both women changed, Isabel more open, Eva vindicated, and the house no longer simply a shrine. It becomes a site of memory rebalanced, never fully resolved, but deeply altered. Conclusion: A quiet power. The Safekeep is a work of understated grandeur. It weaves claustrophobic tension, sensual awakening, and historical reckoning into a rich psychological tapestry. Isabel's journey from repression toward emotional truth parallels a nation's struggle to confront uncomfortable truths about complicity and erasure. With elegant prose and a haunting premise, Yael van der Wouden delivers a story that lingers and shifts our own sense of what we carry as inheritance.